the Green Thinkers Academy.
Hello everyone, I am Nilanjana Majumdar, member of the Green Thinkers Academy, and today I am going to talk about a topic, the supercritical water oxidation of wastes. So without any further delay, let's jump into the topic. So we all know that environmentally benign waste disposal is becoming a more and more acute problem nowadays. A newly developed process, the supercritical water oxidation, is demonstrating extremely efficient organic waste destruction, that is near about 99.99% of waste destruction plus excellent environmental characteristics, as none of the emissions associated with incineration or burning of any waste. The process is specially suitable for the treatment of wastewater and sludges from domestic sewage as well as paper and pharmaceutical industries. So what is supercritical water? First of all, you have to know that the supercritical water, or SCW, okay, from now on I'm gonna use the abbreviation SCW for supercritical water. The SCW refers to water whose temperature and pressure are above the critical point. So what is the critical point of water? It is 374.15 degrees Celsius and 22.1 megapascal pressure. The physical properties of SCW, such as density, viscosity, dielectric constant, hydrogen bonding and ionic product, is vastly different from those of the normal water or the streams. The density of SCW is about 1/3 of the ion product in the normal state, and the dielectric constant is reduced from 87.7 at 0 degrees Celsius to 2 to 30 of SCW. And the ion product is also reduced from 10 to the power 3 to 10 to the power 9 times than that of the normal water. Okay. So the supercritical water has a low dielectric constant, and thus it is extremely soluble to non-polar compounds such as organic matter and oxygen as well. In addition, the supercritical water has a significantly lower viscosity than that of the normal water. The diffusion coefficient is improved and the mass transfer performance is also enhanced in SCW, and thus it can be completely miscible with non-polar gases as well as hydrocarbons. So this is a typical schematic figure for the typical SCW for sludge treatment. So here we can see that there is a feed tank in where the sludge inflow is coming, and from there there is a preheating ecomizer, and from there is a startup heater, and finally the heat the temperature is there like 600 degrees Celsius, is very much hot, and from there it is gone to the inputted into the supercritical water reactor, and from there the byproducts like water and carbon dioxide, oxygen, nitrogen, these are coming from there. Okay. And from this from this typical figure, we can also see that the heat harvest can also be done in many industries. So many industry can also use it for a power generation as well. So this is a very profit making technique, you can see. So this is also very promising technique, and also sustainable for environment as well and for industries as well. So how does a SCWO work? So the supercritical water oxidation process provides the rapid destruction of a wide variety of organic species normally considered to be the refractory or difficult to break down under conventional means such as the incineration, okay, like the burning of waste. So most hydrocarbons and oxygenated hydrocarbons are converted to carbon dioxide and water. The nitrogen is a feed, is converted to the nitrogen or nitrous oxide. The heteroatoms in the feed such as chlorine, sulfur or the phosphorus are converted to their corresponding mineral acids like HCl, H2SO4 or H3PO4, or salts if pre-neutralized with base. The typical operating conditions are usually well above the critical point, which I have already told, in the range of 500 to 650 degrees Celsius, like we have already seen in the picture as well, and 250 to 300 bar, with reactor resident times under 1 minute for complete destruction. Okay. Under these conditions, the dioxins, furans, NOx and other noxious byproducts that plug incineration based processes do not form in SCW. Okay. So most SCW reactors tend to be either of the vessel type or tubular type, like the pipe type. The difference being the magnitude of the diameter, of different diameters. Okay. The targeted niche for most commercial SCWO applications are aqueous organic wastes in range of 1 to 20% of organic weight, and 2 concentrated for activated carbon to remove economically. Okay, but 2 dilute for incineration to handle efficiently. So the easiest waste is to process are those that contain only the elements carbon, hydrogen and oxygen and nitrogen. Okay. So the heteroatom containing wastes are more difficult to process, since the associated acids and the salts that form lead to the 2 biggest challenges to SCW processes, and the 2 biggest challenges for this process are the corrosion and the salt precipitation or accumulation. I'm going to talk later about these in the next slides. So what I have already told, that these are the key problems. Okay, so the hard or harsh conditions involved in SCW process, such as high temperature, high pressure, excessive oxygen, corrosive ions, etc., easily induce severe reactor corrosion problems. So because it is very common. Okay, meaning a shorter reactor life, because if the corrosion problem is higher, then it will also it will result in shorter reactor life. And on the other hand, inorganic salts will precipitate from SCW due to its extremely low dielectric constant, which I have already told you that this is a characteristic, which may result in reactor plugging triggered by deposited salts and further cause expensive and frequent shutdowns of the whole SCW plant. Okay, the whole plant can be shut down. So these 2 aspects to a certain degree are still not effectively solved and seriously hinder the extensive commercialization of SCWO, because due to this many industries are they don't want to use this thing, because they think that if the reactor will have this corrosion problem and shorter reactor life, then there will be severe loss to their industry. So the corrosion is a key obstacle to limit the commercial application of SCWO, which not only shortens the reactor life but also induces a bad treatment effect of the feedstock due to the formations of corrosion products. The harsh operation conditions like the high concentration of oxidants, the extreme pH values, the high temperature and pressure, together with the reaction, the ultimate products result in severe corrosion problem in SCWO reactors. So the corrosion mainly occurs on reactor's inner wall, which is only common. Okay, it also appears in the heat exchanger and cooler on inlet and outlet pipelines of the reactor. So this is a very problematic thing. Okay, so this is a huge problem, huge problem for the application of this technique. So beyond all the doubt, the reactor is the most important core equipment of SCWO plants. The products which are the produced salts due to the SCWO reaction together with those initially contained in feedstock may result in reactor plugging and increased corrosion rate of equipment. In terms of whether or not the precipitated solid state salt is promised to accumulate on reactor's internal surface, the precipitated salt and the internal surface of the reactor have 2 kinds of relations in reactor. For the former case, the salt removal can be accomplished by special instruments such as mechanical brushing, reactor flushing, rotating scraper, etc. For the latter case, it can be achieved by particular reactor designs and operation means. They include reverse flow tank reactor with brine pool, reversible flow tubular reactor, transpiring wall reactor, centrifuge reactor, cross flow filtration, homogeneous precipitation, high velocity flow, additive addition, etc. Moreover, the extreme pressure is provided to avoid salt precipitation in SCW. So these are all some means by which the reactor's life can be increased. Okay, so the oldest plant currently in operation was built in Tokyo by Mitsubishi Heavy Industries, utilizing the advanced hydrothermal oxidation variation of SCWO that was developed by SRI International. It was built for and is operated by the Japan Environmental Safety Corporation, an agency of the Japanese government, for destroying polyfluorinated biphenyls. The plant is one of the 5 regional facilities set up by the Japanese government for destroying the country's stockpile of PCBs, but the only one that is based on SCW technology. This was the only one. Okay. The commercialization of SCWO technology has been in progress for over 3 decades since its potential for destruction of aqueous organic wastes was first realized. As of the early 2012, there are 6 commercial firms around the world that are working in SCWO. While this is less than the number of SCWO companies in the past, new companies continue to enter the field as other ones leave. Excuse me. So each SCWO company has one or more unique features to their system design. Okay, for the operation and the control of the corrosion and the salt buildup, etc. And as a business plan, each one has targeted a specific feed niche. Okay. While not without its challenges, SCW technology commercialization remains an area of great interest and activity nowadays. Okay. So there are also a Swedish-based company, that is Kimatur Engineering AB, has been developing the SCWO process under license from Eco Waste Technologies since 1995 and is marketing it under the name of Aqua Critox, okay, or Critox. The Kimatur acquired the worldwide rights to the technology in 1999. Kimatur is a specialist in supercritical processes and also works with supercritical carbon dioxide. Okay, and this is the only industry. The company has built a large-scale pilot plant close to its head office in Karlskoga in central Sweden, and recently an even larger plant has been built at Hinko Pantek near the Kobe in the south of the main island of Japan. Also the Honshu area. This plant was commissioned by the Kimatur's license Shinko Pantek. The company has been using these plants to trial the process for the treatment of different wastes for 2 years, and encouraging results have been obtained so far. Okay. So let's come to the advantage of this SCWO process. Some of them I have already told you. The SCW has a number of advantages over the routine. Like dewatering is much more reduced or even eliminated completely. Okay. The inks, which mainly consist of carbon and fibers, are completely reduced to carbon dioxide and water, which we have already seen in the figure as well. Many papers contain inert fillers, right? Mainly China clay, which end up in sludge, and this could be recycled after separation from the aqua supercritical process. The paper mills could satisfy a large part of their paper filler requirements from this source, since the filler brightness is close to that of the virgin material. No landfilling is required, which always involves the danger of contaminants leaching into the soil and environment. The filler is inert, but it can discolor water courses. The heat value from the process may also be available at the site as a form of energy, which I have already told you that it can be used as a source of energy in industries as well. So the de-inking sludge, which was treated in the same quantity as sewage sludge, also showed a remarkably low treatment cost, and this is due to largely to income from the recycled paper filler. So this whole thing, the whole technique is really very much promising for industries as well. So there are many companies, they are still trying to do this, and in developed countries they have already been used, and in developing countries they are trying to think about it. So I hope I have given you some idea about this SCWO process, and thank you for listening to me with so much of patience. Thank you.
The Green Thinkers Academy.